so far out of Pitt, their quarterback pick?
Yeah, so Pickett's, boy, he's a good football player. He's tough, he's instinctive, throws a good ball. He's a mobile guy. Just plays with a good edge to him and very competitive. Don't know him from Adam, but you can tell all of those things on tape. He's just kind of a baller. And he's got a senior offensive line, very physical, a lot of experience. Got some excellent receivers, couple good running backs that run with power and speed and catch the ball well. And I know they had a setback down in Miami, but had been playing really good football. And it's a team that plays with grit and disciplined and well coached, and knows how to find a way to win, and have been in some of their losses, again, other than the Miami game and maybe Penn State earlier in the year. They're all games that they had a chance to win, and they've won some really tight games too. Whether it's Georgia Tech or Syracuse. I believe it was Duke as well, 54-48 or something. But so a very aggressive team and a tough-minded team. That's kind of who their head coach is.
Brent, their running backs had a couple of weeks leading up into the Miami game, and that little two-hit monster there. Describe what you've seen with those two guys and what they bring.
Yeah, just variety of the runs. They run inside, outside zone, powers, counters, some of the option-oriented stuff out of the quarterback read game, and they had some quarterback designed run. And again, a good blend of speed and power, good explosiveness, patience, instincts, run well behind their pads. And a few weeks ago, they rushed for close to 500 yards against Virginia Tech. And so it's a very, good group of backs, to go along with their offensive line.
How did they change schematically from the Matt Canada group that you faced to?
I would say there's more similarities than not. It's just, it's a bird's eye view. They would know a lot more than me, but they still do a lot of the eye candy stuff, and they run a lot of the jet motion with the swapper and, off a variety of the formations and whatnot. So they're still doing a lot of those things. Going to run, play action. And
have you seen teams have success against them in these recent two games by loading up the box, maybe kind of forcing them?
Well, I don't think anybody, just football 101, you got to stop the run. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to win the turnover margin to win games. And so however numbers it takes to stop the run, people are going to commit that. I don't think I've seen anybody on tape say, we're going to be a guy short in a box as a general philosophy watching them play Pitt. And, hey, you might guess wrong, situationally. Maybe on 2nd and 12, your numbers are for coverage, and, they pipe you. But just generally speaking, I think, most of the teams are going to commit as many guys as they need to stop the run.
Brent, there's a list of disturbing things from the film review of Saturday's game. What would be at the top of the list?
Well, the things that frustrated you was just some of our alignments, whether we were too deep or we're too wide. We don't have the kind of leverage that we needed to based on the calls. And, that happened enough early to get them into rhythm and put them in scoring position. And then, I think a critical play, so those are plays leading up in that, just the first drive, and then we get off the field on 3rd and 7, then we're off sides, and so I think pre-snap we did some stuff, particularly in the first half, that just gave us no chance. Or again, we're covering their fastest guy and we get caught flat-footed. We shouldn't be flat-footed, new wrinkle or not. That's not how that's not what we're coached to do. And some of our alignments were asinine, And I wish I had a megaphone or unlimited timeouts, because those were things you saw, from the sideline that you can't do. But those are just a few things. We got a cover 2 call. We don't run with the seam route, and the quarterback finds him late across the middle. This is week 12. We got to, those are basic fundamental things that, for whatever reason, not just one guy, just took multiple guys here and there. Some guys played really well, and there's 70 plays that look pretty dang good. And but there was an abomination on those other 10, 12 plays. And they made a few plays, too. Give them credit. But we had a coverage. They scored 2 touchdowns late, and one of them, where we just busted the coverage over their best guy. The guy says he had a different signal than everybody else, and that's discouraging, as well. So.
Brent, J.D. Davis played really well in light of Trey's injury. Have you heard anything about Trey and his progress and get back?
He's supposed to be good to go today.
Coach, I don't know if there's ever a good thing or a good time for those things to happen, but you've been so dominant over the last 6 games. Is it kind of good to bring your guys down to earth and expose some fundamentals?
I mean, our guys have been humble and they've worked hard. We didn't play well. We didn't coach well enough, obviously, and we coached and played well enough to win. We did enough good things to win, and we're not sitting here tooting our horn about it. But you got to have perspective, and thank goodness our offense, completely and totally dominated the game from start to finish. And we needed them. We weren't doing a lot of basic, fundamental, easy things. Again, particularly in coverage. They get a little bunch set early in the game into the boundary, and there's no autonomy about, do I come under the block or do I go outside the block? Against every single buddy we play, against every single practice we're at, every drill we work, you're outside, your help's inside. And we come under, and they gain 15. We played so, ignorant at times, and where it's just, that makes no sense. And but that's ours, and we have to own it. And we got to correct it. And there's enough. There's. You said it, but there's a lot more video evidence, and we know who we are. And for whatever reason, we just. Didn't have them ready to play like we needed to. Just doing some easy fundamental things. Not talking about making crazy good plays. I'm just talking about just little things. I thought we were late. I think first 40 plays we were lined up, have plenty of time. They were trying to tempo, and I think our guys, everybody structurally was lined up good through our first 40 plays. But I still felt like we were just a little bit not quite as fast as we need to. There's a few adjustments within certain formations and sets that we got to do certain things like you do every week. I thought we were just a little bit, I'm talking 1 second late. So where you can, instead of a 2-yard gain, it should be a 0-yard gain. That's what I'm talking about. Just little details like we, ideally need to be.
You said after the game that there were a lot of positives, a lot of players played well. After watching the film, who kind of stood out? And J.D. obviously came up with the interception. He hadn't produced a turnover in the previous 2 games. Who were some of the other guys?
Well, Austin Bryant was our player of the game, and if you look at grades and those types of things, 99, 7 graded well, 42, 90. 67 graded pretty good, and can't remember about Niles. And our corners, AJ and Trayvon, both played pretty good. And Kendall had a winning grade, but we turned the tight end loose down the middle of the field the first play of the second half, and that's for 27 yards right down the middle. And we can't do that. Can't do that. It's too easy. Make them earn it. But he really played pretty good. So Isaiah did a lot of really good things, and he's still growing and improving. Made a bunch of plays, played with incredible effort. And you know, you got to do some little things. You know, if you're the flat player, you got to get on the flat, you know, because that quarterback scans the field. He has some time. If you take away that outlet, he has to throw the ball away or we're going to hit him and sack him. And, you know, so got to play with our eyes, just be more disciplined, just do those little things. Just get to the flat when you're supposed to play. Find a guy in the flat and then match the guy in the flat. You know, don't look at the quarterback. And so, again, this late in the year, you'd like to feel like that those issues are all gone, but they're not yet. And but we'll work on it.
Being as good as your defensive front is, are you surprised that only 4 holding penalties have been called this entire season? Thank you for you guys on that. That more of them haven't been called.
I mean, I've seen, you know, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not surprised with anything. I saw linemen down the field multiple times, way down the field, with the ball being thrown, and that's not called. So nothing surprises me. That's a hard job, you know, calling a game. You think your job or their job's harder? Both jobs. Hey, but my job. Yeah, we just look at all of us. We got them all. We got a bunch of hard jobs. It always looks easier on the outside looking in, but I was an official for one game my freshman year in college, and I was an umpire, and I had no training, and I had my buddy, I stayed the night at a friend's house, and I put my contacts on the counter in a couple glasses, and he threw them away. Well, I can't see anything. I got the worst vision. And I had no glasses. So I show up to this hazy summer night in Salina, Kansas, about 100 degrees outside. It looks foggy because it's so hazy and the humidity's so bad. I can't see nothing. Man, and so I'm like totally guessing. The first guy runs out, the ball's over the head. Man, I already rang it before he got there. Yeah, the ball's over the head. And that was like a calamity of errors. It was, I was fighting for my life going home. It was a one and done. I thought it was going to be an easy $50, and so I've always had great respect for officials. What a difficult job, you know, it really is, and thankless job.
Did you get an earful from the players?
The players, I wouldn't worry. It was the parents. They're a lot worse than the players ever could be. So we did the old switcheroo. I got behind the plate. Then after that, naked gun. In the middle of the game, the guy's like, "Hey, let's go ahead and switch." I didn't know where to stand, nothing. I was like,
Jimmy beer goggles?
it was terrible. Yeah. What are those?
Beer goggles?
Yeah. I'm just kidding.
Brent, you talked about, you know, your defensive front. You've talked about the leaders they are, how they've handled things. Did you ever worry this year with all the hype on them that maybe they might get ahead of themselves a little bit and you'd have to kind of step in and bring them down to earth?
Maybe a little, but not. In 14, I really worried about that going into that year. Not that I just didn't know. With all the guys coming back, I think we had 8 seniors coming back that year. And but I didn't recruit all those guys in 14, and so I didn't know them as well on the front end. And so, having had a hand in, you know, recruiting most of these guys, really felt. I mean, I knew their mamas. I knew exactly where they came from, and I just felt better, you know, about you know, who they were as people. And so, it doesn't mean I didn't, you know, try to humble them and keep them grounded and all that. It's just kind of, you know, our nature. But
And this is I would imagine, this is the reason they came back for what you guys are playing for this week and maybe going forward.
I think so. I mean, I think that's part of all the reasons. You know, I hate the finality of, you know, national championship or bust. I don't ever, you know, sleep in that bed, and I never try to promote that. And it's you're in a world that does try to promote that. There's just too fatalistic and too much finality, and you know, I think that's overlooking all the other things that are really, really good, that you experience through all of this, you know.
When you do your job as well and you do your thing comes up with various positions that are how do you deal with that year in, year out, knowing that your name is going to pop up, that you have a focus that you have to do with
Well, I mean, obviously, I say obviously, I've said, many times that I'm, very thankful and appreciative and of what I have, and very aware of what I have, and I've never tried to leverage one situation for another ever. I would never try to prostitute myself. If I'm worthy of something, then let the powers that be decide. You want to be valued, you want to be appreciated. To me, I get more out of that than anything. And to me, I have it all here at Clemson. The success of our players and our team, our offense, Coach Sweeney, his leadership, the byproduct of that is, success for all of us. And so, that's part of, the profession that we live in. And, managing it's pretty simple to me, you do have representation that handles a lot of stuff, and you give them guidance about how to handle certain things, but I've always had a be here now mentality, and never tried to have multiple hats in the ring. So.
You didn't get the North Carolina job, though.
I didn't get it.
No, you didn't
Somebody
I think they hired
get it.
Mac Barron.
Okay, good. He'll do awesome.
Speaking of that, though, a report came out today saying that Texas Tech, you talked Navy down there. Is any truth to that?
Kirby and I have, as everybody knows, we're college teammates and fellow linebackers, and are very, very good friends. And I talk to Kirby a lot, and I've talked to him recently, and but that's all I'll say. But I got a great job, and I've got great loyalty and appreciation for the people that are responsible for me being here, with our players, Coach Sweeney, Dan Radakovich, our administration, our fellow coaches. I would never compromise the integrity of my job, for other opportunities, ever. And that's not who I am. And so, just so people understand, there's, and where I'm at right now, my son Jake is here, and he's chasing a dream. I sold this dream to him. My responsibility as a dad is to support it for as long as he wants to chase his dreams. And who am I to be a hypocrite? And regardless of what opportunities are out there, that's how I look at it.
How much of an issue was being set Saturday night?
There's probably 4 or 5 plays in the second half that we weren't set. They got most of it been on one drive, but like I said before, we were in good shape, good alignment. Or again, not getting lined up late secondary wise till we starred, because we start when we're not. Why is it we're not lined up here? What happened? And a first play I think we had was maybe play 40 of an actual play that counted, and but probably 4 or 5 times. But as far as guys, there was a handful of maybe 3 or 4 plays where guys were running scot-free. Not being lined up didn't have anything to do with those. But we were soft in some run game and soft in a couple of fits. I think one time Isaiah was on the wrong side of the formation, and Kendall's having to throw him back out to the other side. Everybody else is lined up, but he's not. They threw the smash, and then he misses the tackle, and they pick up 20 easy yards. It's those plays there that you gotta, you can't just give those, those layups.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Yep.